Welcome to Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I am very, very well. Thank you very much. We are officially onto our final episode of the month of July, aka Tom Savini month. Wow, what a month it's been.
It has been, and it seems like it's gone for a very long time, man.
Yeah, July's a big month, but
Yeah.
I mean, the perfect person to kind of showcase their films for the month because his catalog is so big and they're all excellent.
Yes, they are.
This was a category or a theme that we've been wanting to do for a while. Even last year, we were thinking about it, but we finally got around to it. And just like that, it's over.
It's done.
But we are wrapping up this month with an absolute classic to chat about. But before we do that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news?
This is horror news.
Blairski, you want to kick this one off?
I do. So, the first teaser trailer and poster for Jesse's favorite horror franchise, Terrifier 3, has officially dropped, and the internet went absolutely wild for it.
Surprise, surprise.
Whether Jesse loves it or not. I swear the day it was released and even the day after, our socials feed for Reviews That Scare, every single post was someone talking about it or sharing the poster or trailer for the movie. So definitely going to be a big one this year. People are excited for it.
And just to clarify, I mean, it is not, I love when a horror movie is taking the world by storm. I love it. I love when people are able to create their art without any kind of financial barrier, or not necessarily that, but you know, their art is being loved by millions of people everywhere. It's just not my cup of tea at all.
Not only their art, but art.
But art. I mean, arguably one of the most creative killers in a long time.
If anything,
Probably-
he is pretty creepy.
Probably since Jigsaw. I mean, he's probably the most iconic face of horror since Jigsaw, which is,
Like a new face of horror.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Just maybe not my cup of tea, but I do applaud, you know, the people working on it.
What's happening with it?
For doing what they're doing. Yeah, exactly.
It's got to feel good to be feel that success for them for sure.
100%.
We got some Scream 7 news once again, as Nev Campbell has shared shooting for the newest installment of the franchise is finally set to begin this December in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
Release date will be at some point in 2025. I'm assuming closer to the end of the year, with shooting starting so late this year. But something to really look forward to. I'm just stoked that Sidney Prescott is back in the franchise, man.
Agreed. And it's kind of it's refreshing to hear any kind of good news about this upcoming movie, just because it's been hit with so many delays, whether it's, you know, the writer's strike or people not returning to the franchise. Mm-hmm. It's been just like bad news after bad news after bad news. So that's great. And hopefully it sticks to, you know, the schedule.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see for that.
Yeah.
My final piece of horror news, it has been announced already that a sequel to this slasher's gore fest, In a Violent Nature, is already in the works and expected to be out sooner than later. No official release date yet for that. I quite enjoyed the original movie. I definitely hope they do a few things different in the sequel, just to make it better, but I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, not one I've seen. I've certainly seen the kill that everyone's talking about. Blair, you made a point of showing me that, which, I mean, it was a great kill. Great kill.
It's great.
And the killer's mask is fantastic. It's like an old-timey fireman's mask.
Kind of looks like a Minion.
Yeah, definitely. So I am excited to watch the full movie. But yeah, I think it was announced at San Diego Comic-Con. Most all of the news we've had over the last 2 weeks, it's something that has been confirmed at Comic-Con.
Everything happens at Comic-Con, man.
Yeah. Just to add to that one, I believe it's being released by IFC Films and Shudder.
Shudder again. Yeah,
So
I think
that's kind of nice.
they
We're
did
going
the
to see.
first one.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. We get to see that release on Shudder. That's it for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What else do I have here? The release date for the 6th and final season of What We Do in the Shadows has been announced.
Okay.
So it will premiere Monday, the 21st of October of this year.
Okay.
So something to look forward to, something to get excited about, but also something to get sad about, because
that is the end. Yeah.
it's the end. It's the end of something that was very, very special.
I wonder if they'll make any like offshoots from it though, like maybe on the werewolves more or something like that.
Yeah, I know that we've talked about the werewolves being made into a movie, and I
Yeah.
haven't really heard of any news of that recently, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's the offshoot, if maybe that movie idea turns into a TV show series idea. Who knows? Who knows?
Only time will tell.
That's all I have. I had Violent Nature on here. I had, believe it or not, teaser trailer for Terrifier 3. The only other news that we have on here, it's kind of joint news, but we're taking some time off.
We're going to be taking the month of August off. That's not to be said that we won't record an episode if the time comes,
If we can.
if we get a chance. But for the most part, I'll just kind of be posting up some of our older episodes throughout the month, some flashbacks, and we'll be back for sure with our regular scheduled programming in September for sure.
Yeah, August just kind of gets away from us a bit. Blair is headed home for a well-deserved vacation.
Yeah.
See family, and I'm doing other art stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you're in the city of Edmonton, I just want to do, I've been holding off on kind of doing any promo.
Oh, please do it. Please do it.
But if you're in Edmonton for the Edmonton International Fringe Festival, or if you're anticipating coming into the city for Edmonton International Fringe Festival, I have 2 shows that I'm going to be doing.
Two this guy.
So I will be acting in a show called Batman, Bob, and Bill about the creation of Batman. And then I will also be performing in one that I helped write called The Silence of the Lambs Jr.
I will be going to that on opening day.
Really excited for that one. Excited for both, but Silence of the Lambs Jr. It is just that. It is The Silence of the Lambs on the stage, but rewritten for in the style of a children's show.
Yeah.
So-
Not necessarily written for kids, but in the style of a kid.
Yeah, don't bring your kids, but it's in the style of a kid show. So Silence of the Lambs with a lot of puppets and song and dance. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I would love to see you all out to both of those shows. So
I'm excited, man. You've been working really hard for the last couple months on that, so I'm excited to check it out.
I'm excited for the world to see them both, see both shows. I'm really proud of the work that's been done on both. So let's share it with the world, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, that's what I have for horror news. What do you say we move on to this week's episode? The 5th and final episode in Tom Savini month goes to 1978's Dawn of the Dead. Runtime on this one, 2 hours, 7 minutes. Blairski, initial runtime thoughts.
I don't know what film you watched, but the one I watched was 2 hours and 34 minutes. And that's way too long, man.
You must have watched the director's cut.
I guess so. I don't even know. There's apparently 2 or 3 different cuts of this movie.
Yeah.
I just hit one and went with it. It was so long. I had to do it in segments. I watched about an hour and 40 minutes of it last night, and I watched the remaining hour this morning. It's a long movie. The version I watched anyway.
And that's got to be the director's cut. That's got to be the Romero cut. But even 2 hours and 7 minutes, it's a little bit long. Tails out kind of at the end, and then comes back for a grand finale.
Yeah.
Let's chat about some fun facts.
Fun facts. Facts that are fun.
Blairski, you got some fun facts for Dawn of the Dead?
Bro, this time I've only got one fun fact, but for this movie, I feel like it's the most important fun fact we could even mention. And that is, this was Tom Savini's feature debut movie as an effects artist.
Really?
Yep.
As a special effects artist?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. This was his debut feature film.
Feature film. What was he? What would he be casted or credited as in like all the previous films?
I don't know because like what was before this? This is 1978. What really was he in before this?
I mean, Night of the Living Dead.
Was he did he do Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah. Prowler.
Was Prowler before this too?
I'm almost positive.
Or I
But
thought
he might have
Prowler
been
was 80s.
listed. He might have been credited as something else, makeup effects. But this could be the
I might
time
have
that he's
read
doing.
wrong and I could have been reading his work in Night of the Living Dead, possibly doing the research. I'm not too sure. So maybe throw my one and only fun fact out the window.
Redacted. I could also be wrong. I don't know. I
I
know.
read that. I thought I read that. I'm going to double check that after this episode. But yeah, no fun facts, Jesse. None.
If it is true, then believe us. If it's not true, fake news, redacted.
Redacted.
I've got a few fun facts here. The many extras in the movie were apparently given $1, a donut, and a Dawn of the Dead t-shirt.
Pretty cool.
I think that's pretty good.
Pretty cool.
I mean, and there's hundreds of zombies in this movie.
I like the Dawn of the Dead t-shirt for sure.
Yeah. A lot of fake blood was a mixture of food coloring, peanut butter, and cane sugar syrup. How'd you like to be drenched in that all day?
Oh, it'll be so sticky.
I know. Oh, goodness. The legend Tom Savini was not happy with the blood mix in the movie. On the other hand, George A. Romero, on the other hand, thought it was perfect. He thought it just totally amped up kind of the comic book style of it.
Can I tell you something?
Please.
I've got this written in my likes and don't likes, but I absolutely love the color of the blood in this movie.
Me too. Not only the color of the blood, which is like the most vibrant red that you could possibly get.
So vibrant, man.
I know Tom Savini wasn't crazy about the gray coloring of the zombies, but I like the blue zombies.
I wasn't a big fan of that either, but we'll talk about that. We'll get there.
Absolutely. I got some more here. Some of the actors playing zombies would get drunk after the shoot at a bar located in the mall. And apparently one night they stole a golf cart and caused $7,000 worth of damage. Oh, goodness. Two more. It's the most profitable film in the Dead series.
Okay.
It's also known as, one of the greatest sequels of all time.
Yeah.
And then finally, iconic horror movie director Dario Argento co-produced this film and also, with the help of the Goblins, did the music, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, we'll talk about the music.
Let's talk about the fine folks who created this movie, directed by, of course, the legend George A. Romero, directed 1968's Night of the Living Dead, 1972's Season of the Witch, 1973's The Crazies, 1975's The Amusement Park, 1981's Night Riders, and the music video for the Misfits song Scream. Very cool.
Rock on.
Written by George A. Romero. I think he wrote it in 3 weeks, which is pretty good.
Yeah. No kidding.
Also wrote 1985's Dawn of the Dead, 1985's Day of the Dead, 1987's Creep Show 2, 1988's Monkey Shines, 2005's Land of the Dead, and 2007's Diary of the Dead, just to name a few. If it ends in of the dead,
yeah,
he either wrote it directly or it was based off of characters that he created.
Same with Living Dead, which is a totally kind of different segment, but
absolutely. Starring David M.G. as Steven, also starred in 1976's The Devil and Sam Silverstein, 1990's Basket Case 2, and 1992's Hellmaster. Ken Foree as Peter. Holy, what a resume.
This guy's awesome.
Starred in Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 as Benny, 2005's The Devil's Rejects as Charlie Altamont, 2007's Halloween as Big Joe Grizzly, and 2012's The Lords of Salem as Herman Jackson, just to name a few.
Yeah, he's great.
Rob Zombie loves him, and so do we. And so do we.
Yeah.
Scott Reiniger as Roger also starred in 1981's Night Riders, 1979's Danny, and as the General in the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead. I think most everyone appeared in the remake in very brief moments.
Some way or another.
Yeah. Also starring Galen Ross as Francine, starred in 1981's Mad Men and 1982's Creep Show, where she played Becky in the segment Something to tide over you, or to tide you over.
No kidding. That was
Yeah,
right on.
that was your favorite segment
It
of
was,
Creep
yeah.
Show. Yeah, that was her. Pretty cool.
Right on.
And then finally, Tom Savini, the great, as a motorcycle rider.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, motorcycle raider.
I thought it was number 2.
Maybe number 2. Yeah.
Motorcycle
yeah.
Raider number 2.
Tom Savini looking like Tom Savini.
Yeah, 100%.
Synopsis for 1978's Dawn of the Dead, courtesy of our dear friends at IMDb. During an escalating zombie epidemic, 2 Philadelphia SWAT team members, a traffic reporter, and his TV executive girlfriend seek refuge in a secluded shopping mall. Yep.
Yeah, that's the movie.
That's it. That's it. And I will talk about the remake a little bit later. But yeah, there's definitely the differences,
There's big differences.
I think the similarities are it takes place in a shopping mall.
Yeah, that's about it.
This leads us to one of our favorite segments, Kill Count.
Kill count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, we got a kill count for 1978's Dawn of the Dead.
Well, as with any zombie movie, it's hard getting an accurate kill count. We did review the remake of this, and I'm pretty sure that our kill count was the entire population for that movie.
Sooner or later.
Yeah, so this time around, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it differently and only count the human deaths that we see in the movie and not all the zombies dying either. So I'm giving 1978's Dawn of the Dead a kill count of 27.
Still pretty high.
Pretty high number for just a human death count for sure.
Yeah, pretty high. That might be in contention for a Golden Sandwich Award this year.
It might be. We'll have to see.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
This leads us to another one of our favorite segments, likes and dislikes. Likes. Dislikes. Likes. Dislikes. And everything in between. The portion of the show where we chat about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Blairski.
Yeah, buddy. Where do we begin,
I don't know about
right?
you. I mean, I wouldn't mind. We'll get into the kills momentarily, but you and I love the intros.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, although slightly confusing, I love how quickly they jump right into the movie. At first, I thought maybe I had missed something, but then I just buckled in for the ride. It just starts so quick. They're already into it.
I felt like I started the movie and it was already halfway through it for some reason. But yeah, I just let it play out. I didn't mind the intro. I do like how quickly it started. I did find it very confusing. Yeah. I will say though, I started off, I'd say the first, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes of the movie, I was kind of on the fence. To me, the movie got better as it went.
Sure.
This whole movie got better as it went. So, I mean, I do like the fact it started off right away, but I wasn't a huge fan of the intro. It was very chaotic.
It's very chaotic. You don't really know what's going on, which I guess is the feeling that, those characters would be feeling.
Yeah.
Everything is happening all at once and we don't know what's going on. But then it does lead into the kind of the raid on the project housing, which I thought was the best part of the movie.
Okay.
I just thought it was like we see it's our first introduction to this kind of zombie, which is an excellent zombie. And it's also our first, or I guess our reintroduction to Tom Savini's magical makeup work.
I will agree that scene in the apartment buildings had the best kills in the entire movie.
Yeah. Not only that, when the zombies are biting into human flesh and it's pulling away and the skin is all stringy and it's
literally
great,
biting chunks out of people's shoulders and shit.
It's so great. And I like that. And we see that within the first 15 minutes, I would say.
Well, again, we watched different versions of the movie. It took probably about 30-35 minutes for me to get to that point.
Okay. It dragged on a little bit at the TV station.
It was a long time at the TV station. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't a huge fan of that in the version I watched anyway.
Yeah. Fair enough. I got to say right off the bat, out of all of the Tom Savini movies we've watched this month, this is my favorite of his special effects work.
I'd agree with you.
And I know it's not his favorite. Like I was saying, I know he had a lot of issues with the blue looking zombies and the color of the blood. But I mean, I just keep thinking back to the helicopter taking off the top of the zombie's head.
Yeah, that was
And
super
that
cool.
does it for me. And it doesn't
Yeah.
take off the zombie's head completely, but it just the top of his head. And it's like, that does it for me. How he managed to do that, it's unbelievable.
It's especially in 1978.
Yeah.
The out of the movies we reviewed, I think the only one as far as his work goes that comes close would be maybe From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, just as far as like originality.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, the kookiness behind it, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we mentioned the music briefly. What did you feel about the music?
All right. In hindsight, I didn't mind it. My problem was in moments of dialogue between characters, they didn't turn the music down. It
Yeah,
was just as loud and kept going. So I found a lot of scenes really hard to make
hard
out
to
what
hear.
the characters were saying just because of the music.
Yeah, 100%. I felt like, and we've seen movies before where the music almost becomes a bit of a distraction.
Mhm.
And a lot of it is stock music. A lot of it is just stock circus music, which
Yeah.
just seems so out of place.
I didn't mind it at the end of the movie when they played it, but
It's just so goofy. But it also, I mean, the circus music, I suppose we do have scenes with, cream pies being thrown at people, at zombies, and seltzer bottles being sprayed at zombies. So it's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
That was another thing I had with this movie. I just couldn't figure out if I was supposed to laugh, if it's supposed to be scary. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't quite make out a lot of horror comedies or like funny zombie movies like Shaun of the Dead or Return of the Living Dead. There you can tell they're meant to be goofy, funny movies.
It's very clear.
And I could not tell with this one, man. I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be a scary movie, a funny movie. I was a little confused by that a little bit.
And maybe this is just like a good example of a movie not necessarily aging poorly, but just being like of its time,
Yeah.
you know? And I mean, in 1978, they were struggling to get this even an R rating.
I
And
thought
eventually,
they got an X rating on original release, right?
originally they were going to give it an X rating, and then George A. Romero, I think, finally got them down to not giving it a rating at all.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, an X rating for a movie to show it in public is more or less a death sentence, you know?
Yeah.
So I think they got it with no rating, but clearly with that kind of rating, I'm guessing they were shooting for a serious movie. But I think it is just of its time, which isn't
fair enough. Fair enough.
Not a bad thing. Yeah. The music kind of leads me to a question I have for you, Blair. If you find yourself held up in a shopping mall surrounded by zombies, do you turn the mall music on? Or do you look for an aux cord? Or do you just let it go silent?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I think it depends what the mall music was playing, or are you able to change the station? Are you able to pick Z music?
That's the thing. In a mall, I think malls are sent. This is from my time at working at a mall. I think malls are sent specific CDs with playlists on them that you just put on and play. You can't change them.
Here's what I'm thinking. It's a mall. It's 1970s. I'm sure there's a record player in one of those stores and a handful of some decent records that you could probably take back upstairs in your safe room with you. That's probably what I do.
It just seems so odd that they made such a point of, oh, what do you say? Let's turn on some music.
Yeah.
And it's like that would have been a perfect time to add in some really great music from the 70s.
Good music, yeah.
Circus music it is.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. So these are slow zombies.
They are fucking dumb zombies, man. They are very dumb.
Yeah, but what they lack in speed, I think they make up for in quantity. There are a ton of them.
Yeah, they're relentless.
That leads to my second question for you: slow zombies or fast zombies?
I prefer in a movie that's supposed to be taken more seriously and scary, fast zombies all day. Yeah. But in a horror comedy like Shaun of the Dead or something like that, slow dumb zombies for sure.
There's something that slow zombies have over fast zombies. And I think just with the slow zombies, you really do see the quantity of them. So you're just
Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter how fast they move, sooner or later, you're going to be overwhelmed by them.
Yeah. There's only so many places you can go.
Yeah, 100%. They each have their place in a zombie world.
I'd agree with that.
Like I was saying, I was so thrown off during the motorcycle gang pie fight, seltzer fight. What the hell was that about?
I've kind of got that by lessons I've learned. I'll get to that later, but I don't know, man. I don't really know what was going on with that.
There's a huge scene where they show them going into the mall with a full arsenal of grenades and guns and all this stuff, and then they resort to pies.
Yeah, just throwing pies in their faces for like
What are you doing?
tripping them, just like pulling pranks on these zombies, basically.
It turns into a Three Stooges sketch. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay, let's get into the kills because they were so much fun.
Yeah.
The blood, the gore, it was all excellent. What do you have to say about the kills?
Well, my favorite ones were probably, as I said, in the apartment building.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I'd have to go with the head explosion with the shotgun to the head. That was amazing. And anytime people were just getting chunks of their body ripped off of them.
Yeah.
Like absolute chunks. It happened in the mall at the end for sure.
Yeah.
And it also happened a lot in the apartment building. I thought they were great kills.
There was a lot. There was one involving a blood pressure testing machine in the mall.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of great kills in this one. And with the quantity, with it being, what did you say, 26, 27 kills?
It's 27 human deaths, but
27 human deaths.
many zombies.
And I mean, they're all pretty unique, I would say. I mean, we get a lot of zombies being shot, clearly.
There's a lot of headshots for sure.
But I wanted to see more of it. I mean, with that vibrant blood, you know, bring it on, bring it on.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I personally wasn't a fan of the zombie look in this movie, especially in comparison to something like Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love, that goofy zombie look, right? But the blood in this movie, I loved it. I loved the vibrant red of this blood.
I think it's a very distinct look that you can right away, you could see a screenshot of it and say, oh, this is from 78's Dawn of the Dead.
100%. Yeah.
You just know right away, just by the look of the zombie, what movie it's from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of
totally
cool.
Agree.
We talked about the length, it being a little bit too long. Now let's talk a little bit about the remake. We did watch the remake not too long ago.
Yeah.
We both really enjoyed the remake.
Yeah.
What did you think compared to the remake going into it? While watching it?
I'm going to say right now, I personally like the remake better, but they are completely different movies. They both take place in a mall.
Yeah.
In the remake, it starts off the zombies aren't there yet.
Yeah.
This movie, it's already a full-fledged, zombie invasion right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing it takes place right after Night of the Living Dead, right? Or shortly after Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where it falls into place or if it's its own world or if it picks up where the first one left off. I'm not entirely sure where it fits in the universe.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I just kind of assumed it takes place in the same universe just because the zombies are already there.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, the zombies aren't there in the remake. They come eventually. Yeah. And there's a lot more characters inside the mall. I don't know. It's definitely a different movie, different feel for sure.
I think that's the biggest difference. I can't remember what I rated the remake, but I had a lot of fun watching this one. I was getting a little bit distracted with the length, but I think the similarities for the most part is it takes place in a mall.
That's
like you were saying, the remake has a bunch of different characters. This one, it's kind of it's just the four.
The four of them
until the last
bikers show up.
Hour. Yeah. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is for sure.
That's all I have for likes and dislikes. What do you think?
I think I'm good, man. I think I'm good. I think we've covered everything. Let's
move right along then to our next segment. A segment we like to call Lessons We Learned from Watching 1978's Dawn of the Dead. Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here. The segment of the show where we talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski, did you learn a single thing from watching Dawn of the Dead?
Just two things, man. I learned that Spam doesn't need a can opener. It comes with its own key.
Yeah.
And finally, I learned that a pie in the face is always a funny gag, even if the world around you is falling apart.
I suppose. I learned it's not considered cannibalism when a zombie eats a human, as they are no longer human, and zombies don't feast on other zombies. Therefore, zombies are not cannibals.
Yeah, fair enough. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Total sense.
Yeah. Even zombies rot, so you must remember to clean up after yourself. The scene was very reminiscent of Monty Python's Bring Out Your Dead. What else do I got here? During a zombie apocalypse, take a moment to treat yourself. Whether it's caviar on a cracker, a new fedora, an assortment of fur coats, or a big old wheel of cheese, remember to enjoy the finer things.
Don't forget the spam.
Don't forget the spam. And then finally, during a zombie stampede, don't stop to check your blood pressure in a mall blood pressure machine. What are you doing? What are you doing? There's a time and a place. Oh, goodness. This leads us to another segment we like called Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us the chills, they might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski, what do you got for Line of the Night?
This one I actually used in the remake. When there's no room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
One of the coolest
Fantastic
lines.
line. Oh, it's so good. In this instance, it was said by Peter. Such a good line. Peter and Roger, they come across a zombie storage room in the apartment complex at the beginning of the movie. Roger says, "Why did these people keep them in here?" To which Peter replies, "Because they still believe there's respect in dying." I don't know if that is really true in this certain scenario.
I don't know.
My final line of the night, said by Dr. Foster: "Every dead body that is not exterminated becomes one of them. It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill." Creepy,
Wild.
creepy.
I've got a couple here. The priest at the beginning says, "We must stop the killing or lose the war."
Yeah.
There you go. I'm trying to remember. Steven said this one. He said, "Those rednecks are probably enjoying the whole thing." This is when they're escaping in an helicopter to the mall.
Yeah.
They see a group of rednecks hunting for zombies, and they seem very, very happy. They're
having a
tailgating.
blast. Yeah, I was about to say it's like a whole huge, big tailgate party.
Yeah. I've got two more here. Roger, after being bitten, says, "I'm going to try not to come back." What a great line.
Yeah, that is a good line.
And then Francine towards the end says, "It's really all over, isn't it?" It is.
Yep.
It is. Within time, it is. It's over with. This leads us to our final segment of the show. Some might even say it's our favorite child of a segment.
Some might, yeah.
Celebrity lookalike time.
Celebrity lookalike time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast and discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle. Blairski,
Yeah.
what do you got for celebrity lookalike time?
All right. The character Peter kind of reminded me of Candyman himself, Tony Todd.
Okay.
And the character Roger kind of reminded me a little bit of comedian Paul Rudd. He also reminded me a little bit of legend himself, Steve McQueen.
Oh, Mr. Cool.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cool. I've got a couple here. Steven reminded me of the hockey coach, Jack Riley, coach of the District 5 Pee Wee hockey team, the Hawks, aka the bad guys in the first Mighty Duck movie. I have one here. There's a Hare Krishna zombie in this movie, and the Hare Krishna zombie reminded me a lot of Dr. Tobias Funke from Arrested Development when he is a standby for the Blue Man Group.
Oh, God. I'm just about to
Minus the
start that
mustache.
series. I'm just about to start it.
Do it. Watch it
I'm doing
immediately.
We're just finishing up The Office, and we're going to get to Parks and Recreation.
And then finally, Roger reminds me of everyone's favorite hobbit, Mr. Billy Boyd, aka Peregrine Pippin Took in the Lord of the Rings franchise.
Is he everyone's favorite?
He's my favorite.
Okay.
He's quite lovable.
He is, yeah.
Oh, goodness. This leads us to our final rating for 1978's Dawn of the Dead Blairski.
Yeah, buddy.
Out of 5 Tom Savini mustache combs, what do you give in Dawn of the Dead?
I had a hard time giving a rating for this. I did really enjoy watching it, but it was way too long. And just thinking of not only the remake, but Return of the Living Dead, Shaun of the Dead, just some other kind of zombie movies I enjoyed better. I'm going to be giving this 2.5 Tom Savini mustache combs out of 5.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's not bad. I enjoyed watching it.
I'm gonna go a bit higher. 3.5 Tom Savini mustache combs out of 5. I love the zombies, and I loved everything Tom Savini did.
Tom Savini's so good, man.
So good, so good. That was a fun month of great Tom Savini movies. Like we said, we are going to, if we can squeeze it in, we're going to try and record an episode in August when time permits. If not, we're going to throw up some older episodes, and then come back even better, bigger in September.
Yes, sir.
Which we're really excited for. But until then, enjoy the rest of the summer, folks.
Yes, enjoy. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Blairski, enjoy your holidays.
Thank you, Jesse.
Hopefully we'll see everyone at the Edmonton International Fringe Festival. But
I'll be there.
You better be.
I will.
Until then, this has been Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
And I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Bye, guys. See you in a month.
Thank you for listening to Reviews That Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/reviewsatScare. That's linktr.ee/reviewsatScare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsthatScare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich. A proud member of Pod Nation TV.